The flashing red and blue lights of the police cruiser cut through the quiet suburban morning like an unwelcome siren of chaos. My stomach twisted into knots as I stepped outside to face the unexpected drama unfolding right in my own driveway. Amanda, the HOA president, stood there with her phone glued to her ear, screaming that I was trespassing on land she had sold to her family. The officer shifted uncomfortably on the pavement while trying to make sense of her wild accusations against me. I had moved into Sunnybrook Estates just 6 months earlier, chasing the peaceful suburban dream after years in the noisy city. The fresh morning air and neatly trimmed lawns had promised a fresh start filled with calm and simple joys. Yet Amanda quickly showed herself as the power-hungry HOA queen who ruled our neighborhood with ridiculous iron control. Her first certified letter arrived complaining that my backyard fence stood 2 inches higher than the approved limit. I fixed it the same day to keep the peace and avoid any pointless battles with the association. Then came weekly notices about my lawn being mowed in the wrong pattern and my grass slightly too long. Each time I complied fully while feeling a slow burn of frustration building quietly inside my chest. The warm sunlight filtered through the trees as I caught her nephew staking out my private backyard one warm afternoon. He avoided my eyes and kept measuring the ground as if he already owned the strip of land. Amanda soon appeared with her fake sweet smile and that heavy floral perfume that always announced her presence. This back section was common area under new bylaws, she explained in her most condescending tone possible. I had already approved the sale to my family for their new patio extension, she added with total confidence. My nervous laugh died fast when I realized she was dead serious about stealing part of my property. The cheap-looking document she shoved at me claimed the transfer was complete and fully authorized by the HOA. I demanded real proof from the county records right there on the spot under the bright sun. She dismissed me with a wave and told me to wait for the official notice in my mailbox soon. That night the weight of her words kept me tossing in bed while crickets chirped outside my window. The next morning she escalated everything by calling the cops the moment I stepped into my own yard. The patrol car arrived with its engine rumbling and exhaust mixing with the scent of cut grass nearby. My frustration boiled over as I handed the officer my original deed to counter her trespass complaint directly. He listened professionally but explained that HOA disputes like this often needed deeper legal checks from both parties. Rumors started flying fast through the neighborhood Facebook group, painting me as the rude rule-breaking outsider. Friendly neighbors suddenly avoided eye contact during evening walks around our quiet cul-de-sac lined with flowers. Anonymous notes appeared in my mailbox accusing me of destroying property values with my supposed defiance. The growing social isolation made my days feel heavier with tension in the once welcoming suburban air. I stayed outwardly calm and began saving every email, every text, and every photo with careful timestamps. Her threats of massive daily fines for staying on the so-called sold land grew more desperate each week. The monthly HOA meeting room smelled of stale coffee and carried thick nervous energy among the residents. Amanda took the podium like a dictator, lecturing us about community standards and my terrible violations. She announced loudly that my refusal to vacate the land was hurting everyone and demanded immediate enforcement. Her voice dripped fake concern while she pushed the board to slap me with thousands in penalties. Neighbors shifted uneasily in their folding chairs, exchanging worried glances across the crowded meeting space. I sat quietly in the back row, gripping my thick folder of evidence with rising inner determination. Earlier that week I had driven to the county recorder's office and pulled every official property record myself. Those documents proved beyond doubt that the entire backyard still belonged fully and legally to me alone. No sale, no transfer, and no legitimate paperwork had ever been filed through proper county channels. Amanda's fatal mistake was the sloppy email she sent me bragging about her solo fake approval process. It showed forged board votes and zero real authority for handing my land to her relatives illegally. I printed color copies with every incriminating line highlighted in bright yellow for maximum effect at the meeting. When the chair finally called my name, I walked to the front with steady steps and a calm voice. Amanda, perhaps you can explain how you sold land that county records still list entirely under my name, I said evenly. The room dropped into stunned silence as I handed out the printed records to every board member present. Her face flushed bright red while she stammered excuses about a simple misunderstanding in the paperwork. Board members scanned the pages with wide eyes and expressions shifting from surprise to outright disbelief. One director asked her point-blank why her family had already started building a fence on my disputed ground. The evidence stacked up like an avalanche she could not stop or talk her way out of anymore. After heated whispers, the board called for an immediate vote to strip her of the presidential title. The motion passed unanimously with 0 votes in her favor as the truth finally sank in deep. Amanda snatched her purse and stormed out of the room without a single word to the shocked crowd. Her dramatic exit left behind waves of relieved sighs and quiet conversations buzzing through the hall. Word of her removal raced through the suburb, turning her loyal allies into distant strangers overnight. The new board reviewed her old decisions and quietly overturned several shady rulings she had forced through. I received a formal apology letter on HOA letterhead plus full reimbursement for my legal consultation costs. Sitting in my now officially mine backyard the next weekend felt liberating as I sipped fresh coffee slowly. The sweet scent of blooming flowers and warm grass carried the taste of hard-won justice in the air. The neighborhood eased back into its peaceful rhythm of friendly waves, evening barbecues, and kids playing freely. Children laughed loudly without the shadow of petty fines or absurd rules hanging over every activity. I watched the vibrant sunset paint the sky orange and pink with deep satisfaction settling in my bones. It was almost poetic how one woman's addiction to tiny power led straight to her own spectacular downfall. The HOA existed for harmony, yet she twisted it into her personal little empire of control. In the end, the cold property records spoke louder than any of her manipulative threats ever could. Yet the sweetest part was seeing her empire of control crumble under the simple weight of truth. Life in Sunnybrook Estates finally became the tranquil suburban haven I had pictured when I first moved in. Every time I glanced toward her house, I let myself smile ironically at how fortunes had reversed completely. The quiet mornings returned with birds singing and no more surprise police visits shattering the peace. I realized small-time tyrants like her always overreach until the evidence catches up and ends the game. The neighborhood felt lighter without her constant surveillance, and the air smelled cleaner than ever before. In the end, the real violation was letting one Karen believe she could steal what was never hers.